Of the security?
Yeah,
the national security? The security of the country? No, I think it's very, very unfortunate. I spoke about security, and I said we must take charge of our security. Taking charge is that Uganda is supposed to be a sovereign country, or is supposedly a sovereign country, an independent country. And if you're independent, you must be in charge of your destiny. And security is part of that. You must be totally in charge of your security. But we know that our state house is being secured by people who are non-Gambians. We know that our seaport, our airport, are secured by people who are non-Gambians. I honestly welcome, outside forces who are in this country. But there are certain things that we must not outsource. We should not have outsourced to them. I don't support the idea of one having non-Gambians to be in charge of security at our state house. And I'm not supportive of them being aware of certain security setups in the country. Let's say our security barracks, our intelligence in terms of security, the kind of equipment that we have. Those ones, I don't think they should not be disposed to outside forces. Unfortunately, it's like our own security forces are not taking the actual roles that they should, because they should have military force, they should have security force and other places. That's instead. Secondly, because when you talk about security, it's not just the army, but we get the immigration and we get the police as well. The security sector are not empowered as well. If you look at the police, you go to a police station, sometimes you find some of the stations are dilapidated. I went to up-country one time. I went to the station, they don't even have a decent desk. Not talk about, they were talking about laptops and phones and whatnot. So if you look at the office setup alone is definitely way below standard. So they're not encouraged, they don't have logistics. And if they have logistics, they don't have fuel. So what we are giving to the security sector is very, very lacking. And we've noticed that lately there's a lot of crime in this country because we are not giving them the support that they deserve. And because, unfortunately, Gambians, this is across the board, and it's true for the security sector also. They're not giving the support that they deserve, but also they're not getting well paid. This payment that I was talking about, you look at the salary of the police officer, and I like to talk about them a lot. You pay them less than $6,000, $7,000, less than $10,000. Instead of money, they need to pay their house rent, or they need to buy another price. What you pay them is definitely very small. So when they receive the rent, the money, they pay the rent, now there's not enough money to buy a bag of rice. So what they'll do, they'll go into the street and start stopping vehicles and asking for a driver's license so that they can get this money. That's the reality. That's what is happening at the moment. So security sector has not been prioritized. That's why I said Senegal, Gambia is inside Senegal. We must have a very good relationship with Senegal because our borders in terms of external borders is only Senegal. So when we have a good security service in Senegal, I think Gambia is in a very good situation to ensure that there is peace in this country. But Gambians by and large are peaceful people. But we notice that lately there is enough crime. That is related to what poverty, it's related to drugs that is used in this country, it's related to unemployment. So all of those have an impact on the security sector. But definitely they need to be supported, they need to be empowered, they need to be trained. So there's a lot of things lacking in the security sector.
We talk about what are your parties strategies to begin to recover the country in inflation? We are currently facing high of inflation.
Yeah.
What are the key strategies that P.A.P are going to employ?
Thank you. I'm glad you mentioned that. You hear what we said that in the Gambia we'll ensure, we'll support. We have more than 10 banks in this country, and most of those banks are owned by non-Gambians. I think it's only Egypt that is owned by a Gambian or the majority stakeholder, and then we have a trust bank that is partly owned by the Gambia. But those banks are not giving support to the other Gambians. So we said yes. What we will do is we will create multi-millionaires in the Gambia. within very short period of time, you said, if you look at the construction sector, the amount of money that is spent in construction, and most of it is given to non-governments. Said what you do is to create employment. You bring in what you need is, construction equipment. You can get them easily nowadays. You can arrange them and you get them from outside, from China, very easily. Government can negotiate it. You bring it in the country and distribute it within the region. Make sure that every region, the area council should not be there. You should at least give them something to do. They should be able to do development also. Now, give that out to the area council as a loan. Look at the security sector. Use the military. You have a lot of young able-bodied men in the security sector, whether it's in the police or in the army. Utilize them. If you go to other countries, the military has a unit that is called an engineering corps. And those people, they do construction, heavy duty construction, civil construction. Like they do bridges, they do buildings, they can do roads. They can tender. Let them go to the area council and the security sector, and also civilians. You give them the equipment that they need. Those are construction equipment. Once they have that, there's a lot of issue with the able to work in the construction sector. If you find out how much they pay, a contractor to do construction on the road, mostly, hardly is it below $10 million. We're talking about $600 to $700 million. Now that should stay in this country, but if you give it to an outside construction company, usually what they do is they bring in some technicians and pay them in salaries. The governments are mostly just the average laborers, or if they are lucky, they can be drivers. But most of the money and the profit goes outside the country. So you do that for the construction sector. If you look at the physics sector, now that is controlled by non-governments. You get the Chinese, they give it to them. Fish is an area, we used to have abundant fish in this country. They bring in trawlers, give it to Gambians, they can manage it. They can fish, the fish can come here, it can be processed, and you can sell it outside. The 100 million that we were saying per region will be invested for young people. We said, milk, you can make it in the US. Okay, I've gone to some places, I visited them when I was in the US. You'll find someone who has like 75 cattle, and they have a dairy farm. They have a manufacturer, they can produce milk. 75, only 75. They can produce milk because the cattle will produce a lot of milk, and that milk, they will process it into powdered milk. So both the milk and the powdered milk can be sold in the market. So in the country, we can make powdered milk in this country. Ketchup, we don't need to import. Groundnut, we can process it locally in the Gambia. Water here, we can process it here locally. We spoke about the millionaires who will import. You help Gambians who are interested in doing business. Open facilities for them, give them credit facilities. Give them loans at concessional rates. Let them import the rice, the sugar. Some of the things they can bring here and bag them here locally. There's one Gambian, Lamingay, he brings some sugar for a very long time. He bags it here. But you get other people, some Cubanese, they bring in rice and bag it here. Some Indians, they bring it. Our Gambians can do it. What is in being a multi-millionaire? A year you make $10, $20 million profit as a businessman. And all you do is you go to Asia or you go to India or some other country, you take your facility or money, you buy rice, 100,000 bags of rice, you bring it in the Gambia and sell it and you make your profit. Very simple, you just take the money, it's a facility, you don't even take the money. It's a credit facility, you go to somebody and say, I want 100,000 bags of rice. They supply the bags of rice to you, you sell it to the Gambians and you make $10, $20 million profit. You tell me Gambians cannot do that? Why must we not support Gambians? Empower them. There are Gambians who have the idea, they have the knowledge, they have the know-how. They're interested and they're serious. You can support them. We talk about our farmers. You go to the farmers, you give them power tillers, you give them tractors, you give them combined harvesters. You give it to them on credit, payable within 10 or 20 years. This is what happens in Europe. This is what has been happening in America. This is what has been happening in Asia. In all those countries, you give it to them, a farmer, you give them a tractor, a power tiller, and then you give them seed and fertilizers on credit for the first year. Give them 5 years. It will be a big person. It's very simple. Even people who do driving and they are interested in being a taxi. You see somebody who is very serious, he doesn't have funds, he will do taxi for somebody else. Why can't you have a bank that will pay for them? If somebody wants to buy a taxi, you come in, they give you 250, 300, or maybe 500,000. They can get those things and then you work it and train it off. That is how the economy is doing. You make sure that capital is available. You cannot do it without capital. You need first the capital, you need the know-how. Then you build capacity. If they need equipment, you give them equipment. We should be able to build our own roads. We should be able to build our own building. Even buildings, you see contractors that we have. You get Indian contractors, you get Chinese contractors, and now even farming. Now you get people who are not Gambians. I mean, they are farming potatoes in this country. They are farming onions in this country. They are doing bananas in this country because they have the means. They have the facilities. We have the land, but not the means. Government is the one who should be able to at least give us those opportunities so that we have access to land to help develop capacity, so that we have the equipment that we need. Believe me, it is very, very simple. It's very easy. Those are part of our agendas that every region, like we said, Gambia, every region a factory. We'll make sure that every region has a factory. We'll make sure that every region will at least invest $100 million. And we'll make sure that we'll support Gambians so that there is at least 5 millionaires. And within a short time, the Gambians will take charge of their country. They'll bring the richest people in this country. They will be involved, but then it will make it easy for the government to make sure employment is going to the crisis. I mean, you guys in the media, you know as much as I do. You have the idea, you say, okay, I want to set up the media, I need my equipment. You can have the best idea, and you can be the most intelligent person. Maybe you might be the best journalist, but you need a place to rent. You need the equipment. I mean, you need staff. You need your tables. You cannot afford it. So what will you do? You'll be working for somebody. I mean, and you know, working tabs as much as I do in the Gambia. It's very important. And it's government, you can change them. Because if they increase the salary rate, I mean, they really increase the standard, they drop the corruption. Because you know, the amount of corruption that is going on in this country, the amount of money that is being pilfered in this country can take care of our needs. And unfortunately, you see the about the diaspora, we are very lucky with the diaspora. I said part of our agenda is to engage Gambian diaspora. I mean, those in the diaspora, they are sending $757 million in this country. Why can't they not own banks? Why can't they not build factories in this country? Why can't they not have dollars in this country? Because government has to engage them so that we will partner with them, so that, and then we will be in charge of Gambia.
Yes, my name is Madam Diop from Gambia Thanksgiving. You've mentioned the numerous lapses in this current government.
What lapses?
You've mentioned so many lapses
Yes,
in this
yes.
government. You as a P.A.P, what are some of the measures you are taking for going to this state house to of course complement some of the issues affecting the country?
Yes, I think as a party, when you start this, identify the problems. And first we said that our ideas are not just to say these are the problems, these are the failures of the government, these are the lapses. I mean, that is just complaining or identifying the problems. But first we must come with solutions. That's why we said we look at our country. We look at the country thoroughly. We compare ourselves to other countries. That we think we have similar situations in terms of being colonized before, in terms of being a small country, in terms of being an underdeveloped country, a young country. And we look at our situation. And we said we must take charge of our country. And we said where government has failed, we mentioned the construction sector, what they need to do to make sure it's developed. As an individual and as a party, we cannot do it, and no political party can do it because we don't have access to the resources. That's why I want people to understand that every day, what we're giving to the government, they're spending $100 million of your money and my money, $100 million every single day, and it's been this money. We said, if that 100 million, if we have access to that, this and this and this is what we will do. That's what we said. What needs to be done to reform the security sector. We said what needs to be done in agriculture, what needs to be done in construction. Even those who are in the physics sector, what they need to do. So we come up with ideas and say what we can do. As a party and as small individuals, the little that we can do at our level and with our potential, we cannot develop it, but our people will make sure they are good citizens, they abide by the laws. And seriously, as an individual, me, I'm personally involved in farming. And what we said is that as a party, for every region, when we are ready, we'll have a farm that is owned by P.A.P. To set an example, because we want to give the farm, that is the P.A.P farm, to give them seed, and then to give them fertilizers, to make sure we provide tractors to them, so that people can see and emulate us. Secondly, we said that our people encourage them to do all their best to be engaged. Because we've had people say that the governments are lazy, they don't want to. We encourage anything that you can do that is legal to have employment to do. Anything that you can do, as a like example, you see we are here, and then if you look at that other place, we open up a software. Because you don't have to just talk, you have to do not just the talking, but you have to really work on it. So we said, okay, if we open a bureau, we try to make sure we open a sub next to it also. It should sustain the bureau, but we also create employment to say that we don't just hold our hands and sit and complain. We want to compete with those that we are saying that are in charge of our country. So we are open shops, we are opening shops, and anything that we can do that we think we can invest in, we will do that. We've also encouraged our people to say every member of P.A.P must also at least commit to plant a tree in their lifetime. At least minimum 1 tree in your lifetime, because that is part of our plans to make sure that the Gambia is a green country, an environmentally friendly country. I mean, if you cannot plant a tree, we'll advise that you pay somebody to plant a tree on your behalf. That way the Gambia will be cleaner, it will be green, it will be a healthier nation. So we have our plans, if you look at our plans, it's very comprehensive in terms of the reforms that the government needs to do. It's open, it's not secret. In fact, we thought that from 2021 up to date, we thought that the government will take at least some of our plans and then at least use them and utilize them to make sure that they can bring about development. Imagine if government takes 100 million and invests it in all the regions, 300 million in West Coast and 200 million in KMC. Perhaps employment would have reduced significantly. And they have to be serious, they have to be sincere and address the situation of the citizen there. And we are not seeing that. Because the health sector is a problem. If you look at our agenda, it's very detailed, which we cannot discuss everything here. But we said if you look at every bank of the Gambia, must have a decent stadium, must have a decent hospital. So those are all things that we are not seeing in the government. I hope that addresses. Okay, he can ask questions.
Can we go?
Yes.
And then we come from Florida. In this New Year's speech, we have the president speak about having a referendum in 2024 in the Constitution. In your deliberations, I've not had mention about the Constitution. That's why, in fact, I'm asking this question.
Yes.
What is the party's position with regards to the constitution building process? I also heard that you'll be embarking on nationwide tour. Is it part of the agenda to sensitize the masses on how important it is for us to have the draft constitution passed so that we can usher in a happy republic?
Yes. Absolutely. That is, in fact, we didn't get to that because there are so many things that if we want to discuss that, it will take a lot of time. But that is of utmost concern to us as well. I know the last time it went and they were supposed to do, there were some contentions. And part of the contention, we thought they should try to pass the bill. There are some things in the Constitution that we were against, that we didn't support. That is, if they tried to pass that before, I think that those were the judges in terms of the package that they had for the judges. That is something that we didn't support as a party per se. Because what they wanted to do for the judges is like if you retire, the benefits that they wanted to give you, you will have a residence. You will be paid for the rest of your life, and then they have something for your spouse. So we think it was too much for this small country. So those are small things that need to be at least discussed on, or they could put them aside and then amend them before they pass it. In terms of the other contentious issue, it was about term limits. We think it's just a joke. In fact, for us, we think for a president in Africa, if you stay 2 terms, that should be more than enough. Because there's nothing that you can finish in a lifetime. Even as an individual, in your own family, what you want to do to build a house and get your family to the level that you want, you can never finish it. So there's no one government that can complete development. Even well-developed countries, well-advanced countries, first world countries, they're still trying to progress. So why must an African president want to stay beyond, 2 terms is beyond me. You cannot listen to your supporters, you cannot listen to people. For me, if I would advise the people to make sure those small things that I said, those can be adjusted, but they should pass the bill retroactively. Meaning, because they were saying that whether the first term of the president, that is from 2017 onwards, should be counted, or after the bill is passed. If you are president for 10 years, what more can you do? What more do you have to prove? If you're president for even 5 years, people should know your capability. you should know what you can do. So, I mean, we'll discuss that as well. We'll look at any area that we think needs to be amended. I mean, but so long as we are concerned, we think it should be passed so that, I mean, we get this thing behind us. Because otherwise what we have is the 1997 Constitution. And we know that that one needs a lot of changes to make sure that it's up to par with what exists in other development countries and what we need as a country as well. Stand up.
As a leader of PAP, how do you view the current situation in the parliament?
The current situation. He continues.
And start to, do you have any plan or intention from an alliance with other Muslim parties?
Thank you, and that is very good. What I've mentioned, and I've mentioned this, I think from 2021, I've mentioned that the government has failed. Seriously. And, you know, among all the political parties in this country, in fact, when we started, I mean, people said that we were a front because of my relationship with the president. And I've mentioned this all the time. I said, the president is our president. As an individual or as a president, we must have maximum and utmost respect for the president, not because of him, but the office that he holds. So I have maximum and utmost respect for the president. And the party, PAP, we have maximum support, respect for the president. Secondly, I've mentioned that he's my brother. We've known each other since we were going to school. I mean, we spent time together, we even traveled together to Bara and spent a lot of time together. So because of that, there was a lot of misunderstanding that, okay, because you knew each other, then meaning you are definitely, I mean, for the government. For me, I said, the Gambia is bigger than me. The Gambia is bigger than the president. The Gambia is bigger than Dabo or Halifa or Ahmad or, I mean, Mama Kano, who have it. The Gambia is bigger than all of us. I mean, the president being the president, I have maximum respect for him. And we told all our people that even if not me, any other president who is elected by Gambians, we must respect that person. Secondly, personally, at the personal level, for me, is a brother. And I will always treat him as a brother. I will never disrespect him. But when it comes to the government, when it comes to the Gambia, we have divergent views. We cannot agree. I cannot compromise my principle just because he's my brother. And unfortunately, he's not the quality leader that the Gambia deserves. I mean, personally. And the direction that he's taken, you heard me said the boss has taken the wrong direction. I mean, in 2021, I was saying that we are at a crossroad. And if we don't go to the right track, I mean, the Gambia will fail. And I've repeated several times that the Gambia has failed because the current direction that has been taken by the government, I'm afraid I haven't seen any positive signs that we can develop. I haven't seen anything. In terms of talking about alliances are possible. I mean, you cannot say I won't ally with anybody. You see, this was mentioned in 2021 when people, in fact, there was a time that we were invited. We met with all the political parties, almost all of them, the ones who contested for the elections. We met with all of them. We had discussions with all of them. And there was a time we were invited to State House. I went to State House. I was coming out, and then there was this message that we supported NPP, but we've made this clear that for us to affiliate or to liaise or to come together or to coalesce with any political party, it must not be something that is discussed just amongst us. Because you can have agreements that will not be disclosed. It must be only for the interest of the Gambia. And to be for the interest of the Gambia, it must be known to Gambia that our coalition is based on one, making sure that there is unity in this Gambia, promoting all tribes to come together, religions to become one, to ensure that Gambians will be empowered, they will be in charge of their country, to ensure that Gambians will be in charge of their security sector, and the reforms that are necessary so that government can have meaningful changes, so that the country can develop. If we see that in anybody, we can. You see, we are not obsessed with being a president. Or being the government. I've said that. God has already decided who will be the next president. It's already so. that we don't have sleepless nights over that. I mean, we believe that what we are trying to do is for the interest of the Gambia, and so long as we are in that, if we see anybody, any party, that we can agree on terms and principles that is really honest and true, not for the parochial interest of a few people or just a political party member, because yes, I want, if we come together so that if we win, I become a minister or somebody can be a director here or this guy can be a vice president. No, it has to be based on genuine agreements and principles. That is purposely for the interest of the people. So it can be anybody. It can be any political party. So long as you are very, very sincere, you are very, very genuine, you mean well for the country, we can come together. Yes. And that doesn't discount even the NPP if they are willing, which I very much doubt because of the direction that they've taken. But if they are ready to make radical changes, very radical changes, which I am very doubtful that they will be able to do, they can work with us. And coming together for coalition to qualify that, it doesn't mean if you come together that you're coming to join them, you're leaning on them. If you come, you must lead as equals. You can come and join us. Coalition is not based on me going and joining. NPP can come and join us. UDP can come and join us. DOI can come and join us. DDC can come and join us. We can also join them. But for anybody that we will say we will join, it must be based on genuine and sincere principles for the community.
Thank you.